Good morning, Superkickin with Steven and Greg fans. Your favorite two hosts right here. Beat the Chiefs, new name today, uh, on a Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, the real Super Bowl is in 10 weeks when WrestleMania takes over Vegas for 2 nights. We are directly on that road. Last weekend, we had all the good times at Smackdown, at Royal Rumble, and then got to take a break from all that stuff for Sunday just to sit back and relax. It's been quite the week in wrestling for some releases coming up. We've had, Royal Rumble winners going to shows. AEW's kicking off their stuff towards Revolution. And they also have a big event next weekend in Australia. So we'll talk all that stuff. So obviously, Greg, it looks like you're pulling for the Eagles today.
Yep, I'm done with Kansas City on multiple fronts. Tired of the three-peat talk. And as a Chargers fan, I don't want to see Mahomes win anything else and give Justin Herbert some room to catch up. So, it's that time for the winds of change to blow through, and for Harbaugh and Herbert to be the next super team to come through and take over the league. So, just putting that out in the universe so that we can be done with KC and all their nonsense, and the refs can find somebody else to root behind.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting how much the shift has changed. The tides have changed for the Chiefs. Um, I think the Taylor Swift stuff and Travis Kelsey has a lot to do with it. You know, it's funny. People talk. They want to see a great team, but like you've said, Greg, unless it's your team, you don't care.
That's right.
Like,
Today, I root for anybody to beat
even the
Kansas City.
Warriors. The Golden State Warriors. I think they started losing a little love as they kept winning, and they broke the record for 73-9 or 73 and whatever it was. So yeah, so it's an interesting dilemma. But yeah, well, I might go watch it at a friend's house and just hang out. I don't really have any rooting interest either way. I just feel kind of indifferent about it. Just there. So I want the refs to do a good no. I'll be like the Rob Lowe commercial where he just has the NFL hat on. But yeah, but I hate to start off the day with this, Greg, but we did see some people get released. Somebody made a good tweet where it's funny that yes, these kind of tweets come out, these releases come out, and everyone acts like it's their favorites, but you don't hear a peep when they're on TV. So yeah, nothing really. I mean, the Good Brothers, I guess you could think, like now that AJ Styles is back, Greg, maybe they could have tried to do. Maybe now that Finn, is kind of looking by himself. Maybe you could have done a little Bullet Club again, but I'm sure they're all kind of done with that anyway. And I guess it does kind of suck because Luke Gallows said he had surgery, and hopefully he's already recovered because that would kind of suck to cut you when you're out on surgery. But hey, if you already got the surgery paid for, more power to him. But you know what I mean? So, you look at these names, Authors of Pain, hadn't been on TV in a little bit, Greg. And it looks like Karrion Kross is, I don't know what his character is, Greg, but he seems to be the guilty conscience, I guess you could call him.
Yeah, that's a good reason. Good.
And we brought back the Authors of Pain like 2 or 3 times. So I think the writing was on the wall. And at first it didn't look like Paul would be with them, and then he was with them. Sonya Deville is probably she's been around 10 years. I didn't realize that, Greg. So I guess that could be the kind of surprise. Blair Davenport really hadn't done anything since she kind of got called up. Cedric Alexander, I see in AW, they're already pushing for him to go join the Hurt Syndicate. Ela Dawn, my current crush, Greg, because damn, there is a fine looking lady if you like your redheads. But yeah. And then Giovanni Vinci, we know what he did. He got jobbed out to somebody. Was it Apollo Crews or something like that? And
I
then
think so.
and then he was So I don't really. I mean, it's yes, I feel bad they lost their jobs, Greg, but I don't feel like it's gonna matter in in the grand scheme of things. Like none of these people are going to be on Mania. Let's face it. None of these people are in big storylines. I think they'll all find a spot somewhere. I guess it would be kind of interesting if they end up in TNA, because then you're still kind of under the, then you got the partnership with NXT. That's a little awkward, awkward
Yeah.
for Paul Craig. But yeah, I think Cedric Alexander. I think he might, try his weight in AEW. Maybe the Good Brothers go back there, hook back up with the Young Bucks, see what they can do there. But everybody else, I think that everybody else just kind of goes the independent route, So, any thoughts on any of these releases that we see?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. When they come out, they get crickets. And whether they boo you or they cheer you, they're doing something. If you come out and they're sitting on their hands, that's the worst thing that can happen. So, and with these people, that's pretty much what happened. They came out and they got nothing. I mean, looking at Vinci, they gave him a new reboot. They gave him a little montage, a little, sizzle reel to come back in for his debut,
Yep, and it did
and he got nothing.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
not like they didn't try for him.
yeah,
Sonya Deville, they did the whole,
UFC,
PFC
yeah.
click, and nobody's responding to it.
I guess you do
Um,
wonder what happens with those. Do we just kind of let Shayna and Zoe still stick together, or do we let them separate?
yeah, well, they were tag team champions, if I remember right. So they have chemistry with each other, but
Mhm.
that's another thing that people really dig it. I don't think they did. So
Yeah,
it may be better to let them be singles and put one of them on each show and let them chase the respective champions over there. So um, that's another thing. Then uh, AOP and Paul Elling. I'm a Paul guy, but his relevance was over 3 decades ago.
yeah.
So
And
um,
they never let him even do anything. So, I mean, hey, talk about the easiest paycheck to collect, Greg. Show up,
yeah,
carry some papers. Well, I guess he did get taken out the one match, and I guess that's the way they wrote him off. So, uh,
right.
well, no, he did come back after the White
Well,
Stick.
yeah, he came back and threw
Sorry,
powders in people's faces, but
yeah, and then yeah, so I mean, Blair Davenport, I feel like she could go the indie route and be fine. Maybe reinvent herself a little bit. But,
yeah, and Cedric's going to level up. He's going to go to the Hurt Syndicate. He's got to.
yeah,
The surprise member when they're in a match and he's going to come and swing the tide to them. And who is this guy? And it did the whole
yeah.
surprise bit, and somebody else will recognize that's Cedric Alexander. Yeah, yeah. So he'll have a nice soft place to land because I have no doubt he'll end up in the Hurt Syndicate.
Yep. So there we go. But on the good news of fronts, we did have the Royal Rumble here in Indianapolis. Quite the event. I felt like Indy just showed out so much for it. I just love the street names, and it just felt like there was a cool vibe here. And Triple H was on the post conference saying, hey, every time we come back to the city, we want to up it. So I'm looking forward to SummerSlam coming, whenever that might be. And then, of course, when the big one, the Super Bowl comes, WrestleMania, I think we'll really do it up then. I would assume maybe by 2030, maybe 2031 ish, whatever WrestleMania number that might be. But we do have our two winners, Greg. Let's start with the undercard, as it were. Yeah, the tag team championship match. A lot of people left. I felt like, Greg, went to the merch stand. Now, I thought the last fall was, the crowd really got into it because they knew it
Yeah,
was the last fall. And it looks like we're heading towards a multi-man tag team match for WrestleMania. You got the Street Profits, show their face. You got Los Garza, Pretty Deadly, get a title shot coming up soon. Motor City Machine Guns still look like they're getting good responses, though. DIY does pick up the win. And no thanks to Street Profits, as they wanted to take them out anyway. So, yeah, I like the tag team scene right now on on SmackDown. I think there's some, it feels a little like, Edge and Christian and Hardy Boys and, Dudley Boys all
Mhm.
trying to vie for the best. And we're not getting quite the, um, violence of it, Greg, but we are getting some good wrestling out of it. And, good little storylines of every team interacting with each other, trying to one up each other. So I thought it was a decent match. I do know those first two falls felt like the air deflated out of the stadium, especially since it came after the Women's Royal Rumble, which was really fantastic. So that was a hard act to follow, I think. But in the end, DIY picks up the win. Any thoughts on that, real quick?
Yeah, I agree that the first couple falls, we weren't really missing anything. And I missed the first fall, even though I was watching the screen, and it happened so fast. And I'm like, okay, what just happened?
Yeah.
And I heard, DIY has the first fall. Like they have to do the replay, and I guess they got it off a DDT or something.
Mhm.
And those first two went pretty fast, and they getting it in on the end is when everybody kind of, okay, this is it. Last 10 minutes or so,
Yeah.
um, and it was really good. And I love the street profits coming down and getting involved, and then the uh, package last night where they explain why they do it. Everybody's getting involved in their matches, so it's
Mhm.
their turn to return the favor.
Yep.
And now we're getting a more heel version of Street Profits, which I've been waiting for a long time.
Mhm.
Um, they've gone the good guy route, coming through with the solo cups and everything, happy and jokey Street Profits. So let's see serious side.
Mhm.
Kind of reminds me of the Usos after they went from the rainbow bright colors to
Penitentiary.
just black and white
Mhm.
and just menacing, and they wreck shop. So I'm hoping Street Profits do the same thing, because those are my guys. And I agree with you. This looks like a multi-man match for the tag team championships coming up. And I can see a ladder match
Mhm.
with 4 or 5, maybe 6 teams.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, 6 may be too many, but
We
put
got all these
DIY,
teams.
put Street Profits, put Machine Guns, um, and even pretty deadly. And I don't know why I put the Garzas in there, but they've been involved in the storyline. So, that's just two more bodies to take those crazy bumps. So I wouldn't hate it. Put it on the ladder and, you know, get the death defying match, in the mix. So it does look like that's where it's going, and all these teams deserve it with the work they've been putting in.
I guess you could give a little homage if you did, call it TLC. Give a nice little nod to those former tag teams that came out and showed out at WrestleMania back in the day. And then, of course, man, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. Whew, there were some shots in there. Parts of the ladder were used. Kevin Owens dies but comes back to life the next day. So we and the crowd was kind of. I thought the crowd in Indy kind of was all for Kevin. There's a little smattering of like Cody won, but they weren't too sure on it. Now, of course, Cody got all the love on SmackDown, but it felt like people were pulling there for Kevin Owens. Especially with the shot, we see where Kevin Owens is headed. Though it does look like him and Sami Zayn. Do we just blow that match off in Toronto, Greg, or do we wait for WrestleMania?
uh, I think it'd be better to do it at WrestleMania. Um, Chamber is only a couple weeks away, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that is
um,
true.
if look at how long that Cody was out after he took that power driver.
Mhm.
So to put him in a match two weeks from now would be, he'd be lapping Cody on the superhero scale if he comes back that fast. Um, but I think Sammy and Kevin at WrestleMania, that's,
Just let him have it.
yeah, let them have it, let them kill each other,
Open one of the
and
nights.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can. It could be the co-main event, pretty much. It's not going to overtake the championship matches, but you put it right before it.
Mhm.
and you may have to put it 2 away from the championship match so the audience has a chance to catch their breath.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe third from the top
Yeah.
with that.
I mean, I only
And
threw it out because it's in Canada. It's like, man, two Canadian boys going at it in the Rogers
yeah,
Center. Like, I mean, they both love that place so much. I'll be curious. They did kind of show. Oh, I mean, I guess you could have Sami Zayn looking like Owens, where he just looks like he's beaten down anyway. Like Owens still looked like he had a bloody eye
yeah,
coming Monday night. So, but like you said, yes, you do want to sell the package file driver, especially since Randy Orton hasn't come back yet.
that's
So,
facts. Yeah.
you know, but that could be a thing too. So,
Or
um,
the other thing is, if they're not going to close the show, let them open
yeah,
the
that's what.
show,
Yeah, yeah,
and then come back to the curtain. Okay, boys, top that,
mhm,
and
yeah.
they
I
have no
like the
doubt that they're
idea.
going
If you, I mean, yeah, maybe like I said, if you wanted to let it percolate to WrestleMania, I like them opening the night, either night one or night two. Probably night one because that would be the first match of the whole. I mean, and kind of that's the booking of their careers.
to. Yeah,
They've gotten the main event together, and then they can open the night together. So, and then, like I said, they've fought at WrestleMania before, yes, but they're both at such different levels. I
hmm
mean, completely different levels than where they were. So. Cody Rhodes keeps winning, and yeah, we see his next challenger for at least Elimination Chamber. But I do think, could there be a certain Randy Orton spotting if we don't want to do Cena and Rhodes? But we'll get into that in a little bit. The Women's Royal Rumble had all the surprises. Jordan Grace got in time from her mom's 50th birthday party.
See,
We had
told you.
Nikki Bella. We had Charlotte. Well, obviously, we had Charlotte. Alexa Bliss finally back. Still not kind of sure of her character, but I think we're seeing glimpses of it. And her doll does have a 6 in one of the eyes, Greg. So there we go. And the doll looks quite creepier. So that could definitely be something. I think one of the White Six is out right now, which might be why they haven't been on TV. But her and Nikki Cross kind of getting back together as a tag team, could give the women's tag team division a run for their money and craziness. But really, solid. Roxanne Perez went to the final two. I think that says everything we need to know, Greg, about where they think Roxanne could be. And only what, 22, 21? I mean, that's what's crazy with Roxanne, just seeing how good she is right now. So, trying to think if I missed anybody. But Charlotte does win it. And that was probably the money pick. And now we'll see which champion she goes after. I know you've called it for Rhea. I think I'm going to stick to Tiffany, Greg, because I like the idea of her putting over Tiffany Stratton. I don't think Charlotte needs a title right now. So, actually, I think her putting over Tiffany. It is interesting how the women's champion travels to all 3 shows, but then the men's they do. Did they do it before? I felt like they did it once, but they haven't done it since. So, like,
Yeah.
I think if you want to be the equal opportunity, you do have the men's Royal Rumble. Just go to NXT anyway, just to kind of pop that down there. But because I feel like they've always done it with the women's winner, and they kind of visit all the shows. But I like Charlotte and Tiffany, Greg, at Mania. So
Hey, did your boy call it or did your boy call
yeah,
it?
yeah, oh yeah. Well,
He
a lot of
called it.
I mean, a lot of people called Charlotte. Oh, is that? Are you calling something else?
Hey, I called Roxanne in the final
Yeah.
4
Oh yeah, you did. Yes, that's true.
and putting or giving her a good long run to
Yeah,
kind of show that she's going to be the next big thing
and beats
on the
Bailey's
main
record
roster.
at
And
that.
yeah, and now she's got the record for longest time in the Royal Rumble match for women.
Yep.
Hour 7 minutes and 49 seconds to be
Mhm.
specific. So,
Yep.
uh, pretty much wire to wire, first 2 in, first 2 out.
Mhm.
So, or one of the last 2 out. And so I was happy to hit on that, but just to see that that's how big they're going uh, to go with her.
Yeah.
She may be diminutive in size, but she can go, and that just shows it that she's going to have some um, she's going to get that shine. She's going to have those opportunities. She's going to be a top of the card
Hmm.
uh, attraction. So um, good on her, and looking forward to seeing her on the main roster full time now. Charlotte, you figured, at least I figured that was a lock for her,
Yeah.
and I still see it's going to be Rhea because she's going to want that last match back because our last WrestleMania she lost her belt to Rhea,
Hmm.
and she's going to want to make that right. That's where I think she's going, even though she was on both programs calling Rhea a child and
Hmm.
Tiffany a toddler or something like that. So, uh, you know, sh- she beats everybody down equally on the microphone. So I still think it's going to come back to Rhea because she took that L to Rhea, and so she's going to want revenge for that. But like I said, if it's Tiffany, I'm all good with Tiffany too because you know Tiffany's going to make the next level. She beat Charlotte at WrestleMania,
Hmm.
so she's already as high as she can go at the moment. But it's going to take somebody like Charlotte to level her up again.
Yep. And like we said, I think seeing Nikki Bella maybe back in the fold a little bit more, that could be good for either brand to add, I think she really wants to work with some of these younger ladies, as she called them. So the thing with Rhea, after Monday night, Greg, she did cost Io Sky her elimination chamber match. So we could build that up. And it
Yeah,
feels like Rhea's always kind of cost Io little things here and there. So because we will do I'm sure we'll do the last chance, and I feel like Io might sneak into the chamber on her own. No thanks to Rhea. So there you go. I think that's where we're off and running for that. But yeah, I don't think you could go wrong either way, like you said. Charlotte and Rhea. There's history there. I guess I do like the newer matchup. I mean, but then do we feel like we're already throwing it away? Charlotte and Tiffany, like right off the bat. But yeah. So and in, I mean, is this the biggest upset winner in the history of Royal Rumbles, Greg? Like knocking John Cena off and everybody thinking like, did that really happen? I mean, it was
yeah,
the same. It felt like when Big Show stepped through the table and cost himself the IC title against Cody Rhodes back in the day. Like it felt like that. Like, oh, is this a mistake? Or even Cena pulling down the Money in the Bank, and kind of like not sure if he was supposed to pull it down yet. But man, Jay freaking Uso gets the win, Greg. I mean, like you said, if you had told me when they were a tag team, Jay Uso is going to win the Royal Rumble, I would have been like, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. And finish it with John Cena. Like, so but I do think all the money, Greg, the house, John Cena win Elimination Chamber. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's, no, but uh, I'm trying. So Logan Paul was 30. Not a lot of surprise. Well, sorry, there was a big surprise. Say his name. He got a good minute or two ish. But
Yeah,
I do think him interacting with Roman and with Sheamus there in the background, the Miz kind of interacted with him. I think the big players, interacted with Joe Hendry, and I think that says a lot. And Joe Hendry was on Monday with Ariel Hawani. He's still pushing that John Cena match, Greg. So man, you know, he said fortune favors the bold, and I mean, it's like a vision board, I guess. You just keep speaking into existence, so why not? But Jay Uso and man, Monday night, that 5-6 minute. I mean, you could just tell how emotional it was for. I mean, it really looked like a weight was like, just off the shoulders of him to really show that he, earned it and proved himself in there. So, what an awesome win for Jay Uso there.
yeah, absolutely. And I was as shocked as everybody else. Um, I was telling you and the person sitting next to me that Jay has to be one of the first two in because he's going to have a 5 minute entrance,
Yeah.
and he didn't. He came in at number 20 something, and now we know why. But but with Cena in there in the final four, okay, it didn't make sense. So he's going to come back on this WrestleMania quest and hit it on his first try, but
Yeah.
that's the way it was looking. And when it came down to just the two of them, that's when I started questioning: are they really going to put Jay over, or just a big tease right here? And it still felt like a kind of a big tease. So neither one of them made sense in my brain. So it's like I'm just generally sitting there on the edge of my seat, going, "Okay, who's going to get it?" Because of that story for both of them. And like I said, didn't see Jay winning in the crystal ball at all. So, and the place went nuts. And couldn't be happier for Jay. But last thing I would have expected going in there, out of all 30, if Logan had won, I would have been sick to my stomach. But that would have.
He got to knock out AJ Styles and CM Punk. So how
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that? Or
I know
no.
there's gonna be some payback for that too.
Wait, who did he eliminate? He eliminated. Oh no, he got. Sorry, didn't he? Or no, I'm trying to read the. Yeah, he got CM. Yes, because then it was the CM Punk take out Seth and Roman, which is where we're looking like we're headed. But are we?
and I
How do you?
hated
How
him
we?
being number 32. It's like
Yeah.
I had three other names I was thinking of, and then saw his music and like, oh no, not this clown.
How do we feel about the triple threat with Punk, Roman, and Rollins at Mania?
Oof.
Does that main event night one? So we can give CM
No, the
Punk.
championship's still gonna headline night one, but that could be the prequel to that title match, because that's a big match. I would still rather it be Roman and Rollins,
Yeah.
because when Roman comes back, he's going to be livid about Seth and getting curb stomped on the steps twice.
Double and then the double curb stomp.
Right.
Like 2 feet.
Yeah, I mean, Seth put some stank on it.
Yeah.
That was brutal, even from the cheap seats. It
Mhm.
was, I saw that from way up there, and
Yeah.
it was harsh.
Mhm.
So Roman's going to want that back, and I would rather see just him and Seth finally go at it. But if you're going to put Punk in there, um, you can't have versus Punk and Seth versus Roman. So
Mhm.
the next best thing is to put them all together. So, you know, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
And you can always, do the one-on-ones in the months after that. So,
I guess I would rather, and see, I would be on the Punk and Reigns just because we really haven't seen that yet. And with Paul Heyman being in the middle of it, I think there's a lot of intrigue there. And it's at Mania. I'm going to call it, Greg. I think if you do that triple threat, I think that does headline night one, like legit main event. Just because Charlotte and Tiffany is a strong contender.
mhm.
I feel like if you do Cody Cena, that's got to be night two main event. Like there's no doubt, in my mind that would main event. Uh,
Right.
I'm and I know and I do agree. Yes, championships would headline, but I also think, stories headline too. We did do a tag team match in the main event. Well, the last 2 years, because we had Usos versus Sammy and Kevin at 39, and
True.
then we did have the big tag team match last year. So yeah, I think they just go with whatever's gonna put the butts in the seats, as they say, Greg. But I was just so happy for Jey Uso. I just really felt like everybody. There was so many congratulatory tweets out about him. It felt like, Michael Cole and McAfee were just loving it.
Hmm.
Legit loving it. So like, it just felt like everybody. It's kind of like when Big E won the title. Everybody loved that, or when Kofi Mania happened. It was just one of
Right.
those real, feel good moments. And like I said, the Raw, which we could get right into right now. That was what a 10-minute. He's done the encore now. He went through his
Right.
whole song and had to restart it, Greg, at SmackDown and Raw. But He got to tell a really good story. Him and Gunther, I that's where we're going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like I said, I keep going back to after he took that last loss to Gunther. Comes
He's
out the
got to
next week.
overcome it. Yeah.
I know I can beat him. I know I can
Mhm.
beat him, and I know that's where he's going to go to. So I'm I would bet my next rent payment that
Yeah.
is going to be Gunther versus Jay at WrestleMania.
And I mean, and the Cody promo was pretty solid. Him kind of going heelish on Jay. So I mean, I think there could be money down there down the road. Maybe
Sure.
that's a crown jewel matchup. If they're both champions still. So, um, yeah, I like I just think you got to go Jay and Gunther. And now, unfortunately, Greg, there's no way that would main event over a triple threat of Seth, Roman, and Punk, right? So that's
Yep, you're right. Yeah.
but I mean, but you could throw it in somewhere and still. I mean, I hate when they say the triple main event. I know that UFC does that. Well, I think they don't do that as much anymore. Back in the day, it felt like they did that more, right? UFC kind of was big on the
Right.
co-main events and all, but it feels like now they're really big. Kind of back in that sporting aspect because uh, there's a there is a Stash Club Wrestling that I follow on Twitter, and they got some flack because they were saying night two is truly the main event, but now that WrestleMania is 2 nights. Well,
Yeah.
they're each the main event because it's 2 nights. But anyways, they were got some love there, or some hate. What about our boy Penta? We did kind of miss out. He got to start the night with his boy Rey Mysterio. Uh, first two
Hmm.
first two Hispanic wrestlers ever starting the Royal Rumble. They were both over the moon about that, and Penta keeps rolling. Uh, where do we see his WrestleMania uh, showcase happening, Greg? Because I'm not really sure where his wrestling. I kind of feel like he'll get lumped into some tag team or 4-man match, unfortunately. But it is still early for him.
Yeah, it is, and it was a huge moment to for those two to start the match.
Yeah.
Looks like a true passing of the torch,
Hmm.
and having them on, the biggest, stage that's not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Uh, Starting the match is huge. It's epic. And Penta from day one, and I loved it with that they're putting him over so big that
Yeah.
Penta is a special attraction.
Hmm.
He's got the blackout happening. I mean,
Hmm.
since the Undertaker left, nobody's got the blackout,
Hmm.
unless there may be one. I don't even know if there's one person that gets the blackout for his entrance now.
Yeah.
So that just speaks to how special they're trying to make him. With them being on Netflix and open to a whole brand new audience that people may be watching it for the first time, and when they see that he's one getting this, lights go out and he comes out, that this character is a special character. So I'm over the moon about it. I'm sure he is. He's getting pyro. He's getting the fire. He's getting everything.
They've been adding little details. I feel like each week, they kind of added the spinning wheel, and then they added the
Yeah,
flames with the spinning wheels. So who knows what the heck they can give him? Give him the Dwayne Johnson blowtorch. Let him
hey,
use that like he did in Dallas back in the day, Craig. Because man,
yeah. I mean,
I'm just
he's
really looking forward to see what he could do at Mania.
he's,
I
he's
think
getting the Cody's pyro package.
mhm.
So
That
love that
Netflix
for
money
him.
is good.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, he's printing money. Those Penta shirts were selling off the
oh
rack.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, and
Uh,
then the mask. They already had the mask on sale, which, like they said in AEW, they never once thought to put the mask on sale. Which
it's
that's
ridiculous.
just
Yeah.
you're just asking. So,
Uh,
Charlotte, we did talk her up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
but to answer your question, I couldn't see, or I don't see yet where
Yeah,
they're going with him for WrestleMania because he's not really involved in any rivalries. He's had
yeah.
3 solid matches against 3 really good technical wrestlers.
I guess Pete
Uh,
Dunne did come back out after him after the
yeah,
Ludwig, and they kind of tried to do a double team, but uh, mean, him and Pete Dunne at Mania. I mean, that's I don't know
Yeah,
if I really
boring.
like I said. I think I mean, I hate put him in the multi-man match, Greg, but at the same time, I could kind of see something like you said. Maybe him and Ray as a tag team against Dominic and somebody or whatever. But um, even though it does look like Ray and Dragon Lee is kind of a tag team thing, but
Yeah,
um,
I mean,
so yeah,
I like this as a one-off with him and Ray. I don't want him involved with Ray or the
yeah,
LWO or any of the
I know, yeah.
Latino factions because that's bringing him down.
Mhm.
He's on a whole other level, other orbit than the LWO and the Los Garzas of the world
That's
at the mid to bottom of the card. This kid is getting the works because he's supposed to be a top guy. So I think somebody else is going to pop up between now and Mania that's going to get our mouth watering for.
I guess you could revisit Chad Gable. Maybe he comes back after. It sounds like he might be going down to AAA because they said it's called Dark Arts Wrestling down there. So
Sure.
maybe have Gable show up as with a little luchador mask to try to the old school. Who's under the mask? Even though we know who the worst of course was Mr. America with Hogan and having the freaking mustache that was still
Yeah.
still there. But so anyway. Or I mean, I guess we could go the Elijah route too, where Kevin Owens was, going to have a heart palpitation because he knew the truth. He was always right. So
Right.
Charlotte was there. We kind of talked her up. New Day, new music.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. New look, and then they got to win. Kind of thinks of Logan Paul, and we're gonna get Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio already, Greg. So there we go. That's kind of crazy to think, but Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio next week on Raw. I don't. Was that a qual? I don't remember if it was a qualifying match or if it's just a. I thought I saw somewhere that's just. I think it's just a straight up match, but
I think so. Yeah.
so yeah. Oh no, Rey Mysterio to battle Logan Paul in the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. So there we go.
All right
Who,
then.
who gets the win? The Logan's got to get the win, right?
I hate to I hate
I
to
mean,
say it, but I think so. He's going to shenanigan his
yeah,
way to a win.
yeah. So,
Feet on the ropes or
and then we do have
pulling on the middle rope.
Lyra and Bailey going at it. So, for a qualifying match, we did have Liv Morgan win by DQ because Rhea tried to get a little bit involved, and that kind of screwed things up for EO. That's why that's why I think we're going for Mania. I think we are. I think we're doing EO to win the EC, and then she gets to challenge Rhea. But Liv Morgan's still kind of getting a little shine here and there. She had a pretty solid run in Royal Rumble, if I remember right. So
Yeah, she did.
Seth Rollins kind of hyping up Sami Zayn, or was that Seth Undertaker Rollins out on Monday night, Greg? Because that
It
was
did.
quite a cowboy look in Cleveland. That was certainly a choice,
Yeah.
as they would say, as the women would say. That was certainly a choice, Greg. But CM Punk gets the win, only for Kevin Owens to show his little snarky butt up and take out Sami Zayn with the package pile driver. I mean, they're letting Owens own that, and he's re-signed with them, Greg. So they're thinking, go for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, CM Punk gets in the. We already got John Cena, who just said he could go in there. Greg, quite the promo by Cena there on that post conference. Very the serious tone. I caught it a little bit of heelish, but there's no way we're going to go heel for Cena in his last hurrah. But maybe a more serious attitude about getting things. Now if it gets desperate times, who knows, Greg? But
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm
what
saying.
are you saying?
I'm saying that he comes back with putting the pressure up on
Yeah.
himself that this is my last year. And okay, I'm going to win the Rumble. Nobody else is going to stop me. And he loses. I'm going to win the Chamber. Nobody's going to stop me. and so he loses. So
I
now you're
think
getting
I
pushed further and further, the madness, and what's the next thing?
mhm,
Well, if I can't win my way in, I'm gonna do the Royal Rumble route, and I'm gonna take out the person who's in. I'm gonna take their spot.
mhm.
Um, and what would be a bigger heel move than jumping Jay and costing him his spot in the main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah,
So, unlikely, but if you're gonna go heel, you may as well go all the way and take out the guy who is the biggest face in the company right now, Jay Uso.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I
you
do like
talk
the
to Miss
idea of
Mania,
seeing,
everybody's gonna hate you no matter who you are.
like the idea of Cena getting more desperate as it gets closer to the end. So
Yeah,
apparently, there's a rumor going out they might name a pay per view Ruthless Aggression after him. I feel like that's the biggest AI generated meme I've ever seen, Greg. I do not have any belief that is happening, but him maybe finishing up in Boston, I could see, but we'll see. So, really solid match between. They said the first time ever, and that was legit. I can't believe that's the first time ever for CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Like, you.
yeah,
I mean, I guess their past probably. I mean, I guess I do think saying Sammy came a little bit after Punk in the indie scene and on ROH, and then Punk was already out of WWE when Sami Zayn was coming up in NXT. So yeah, I guess their time, their paths never crossed, but it's just crazy to think like you would have thought somewhere down the road they or somewhere earlier in their lifetime something would have passed, but NXT still doing some things. We did have Stephanie Vacour defeat JC Jane. She's going after Fallon Henley at Vengeance Day. I believe that is next. Is that next week? Yeah, because there'll be
yeah,
sorry to say Labor Valentine's Day weekend. So Stephanie getting that title, Greg.
yeah. I think so. Um,
I kind
I
of
don't know
like
if they think that.
the champion versus champion at Stand and Deliver really sounds like where they want to go. So Julia, not title for title, but just whoever's the better champion. So
Sure. Um, but yeah, I think Fallon's had it for a good while,
hmm
and you know, this is the next wave of
hmm
uh, female stars coming with Julia and Stephanie, and
yeah,
um, it's time to pass it on to one of them, and then maybe bringing Fallon up after WrestleMania.
yeah, yeah. I could not believe this is a thing, Greg. Fandango, but he's going as his JDC because I forgot he was at TNA. So he's kind of playing his what a way to start as Fandango, but then reintroduce yourself as your TNA character. But hey, I'm all for it. I think it's a different look for him. He said he's come for the system. I believe is a pretty heelish group. That's Moose, and there's a couple other guys in there that are real heelish. So um, challenging Lexus King. So, we'll kind of get a little. It'll be interesting to see do they play Fandango again or do they actually, I'm guessing this time they'll do his actual TNA theme. But hey, I did not. That was done on my bingo card. That was done on my coverall bingo card, Greg, for Fandango showing back up. And yeah, nice little promo. Ridge is going to get a steel cage match against Tony D'Angelo, right? At Vengeance
Yeah.
Day. So we got that happening. Zarya's picking up wins with Solruka. We did have the women's kind of all get. We got Bailey, Roxanne, and Julia all going at it, and Cora Jade takes them all out. So that's a fatal four-way heading
Hmm.
into there. Charlotte Flair was there. Yeah, whatever. She's not getting the NXT champion, so there's no reason to talk about that. What about Kaylani Jordan, Greg? Getting a little heelish on us, or more aggression, and she technically loses to Carmen, and the love bug of her and Ashanti, and then A Town Down Under did defeat Oba and Trick, but we saw Eddie Thorpe come out with a strap, so it looks like we're getting a little strap match action between Trick and Eddie Thorpe. So lots to unpack there, Greg. Where would you like to start?
Well, this is a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Um, I like the strap match angle.
Yeah.
Eddie Thorpe coming in, after all the work was done and his foe is laid out already and just beats the crap out of Trick.
Mhm.
um, yeah, but strap match is gonna be fun. I mean, we don't
Good way
see
to
strap
write off.
matches very often, so
Good way to write off Trick too. I think. If
what's
you have
that?
Eddie Thorpe beat him in the
Yeah,
strap match, and then injure him, maybe a good way to send up Trick Williams.
yeah, I agree. So I like that. Um, the four way with the women is going to be really good. I like Cora finally because Roxanne had been kind of talking down about her
Hmm.
while she's not in the ring, and she finally stands up for herself and just wipes out everybody with the kendo stick.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's going to be a banger of a four-way match. Uh, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. And yeah, Fandango. It's like that was the last person I expected to see. Agreed. So
Yeah.
like really, and it's like I'm JDC now. It's like, well, don't put Fandango up on the Tron when he comes out,
I mean, I
and play
guess
the
I do like
Fandango
that because
music.
you're like, oh yeah, Fandango. Then you're like, oh wait, no, he's yeah. And then I know we have Josh Alexander finish up his date soon. Uh, WWE path for Josh Alexander, Greg.
Got to be.
Yeah.
The guy's a killer, and he's nonstop in the ring. His motor is crazy, to use an NFL term.
Mhm.
Uh, so I'm excited to see what he can do, on the main roster because
Do
I
we
think they're
think
gonna.
Jordan? I was gonna say, does Jordan Grace go to NXT first?
No, I think she's already made woman. I mean, we've
Okay.
seen her enough already,
Yeah,
and she's had matches in NXT
that's true.
already. So we know who she is. She doesn't need to cultivate a following in NXT before she comes up. She's ready to go straight to the main roster.
Mhm. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt the women down there. Maybe if you want to give her a little more TV time down there, but I would like. I think I would like to see her on the main roster, or do the jump back and forth. A few couple months, let her get on TV both ways, and see where she's at. But
Yeah,
now Josh Alexander, I am curious if the main roster crowd knows enough of him. I think he might need to do the NXT first, like Ethan Page, which we
yeah,
haven't seen
yeah.
Ethan Page yet either. So be curious to see if Ethan Page shows up on the main roster soon. So yeah, like you said, a really solid episode. Shawn Michaels is a chef down there, and he's cooking with gas, as they say, Craig. So,
He is.
SmackDown, a lot to unpack here as well. So Jay and Cody, really good, solid back and forth. I did love the Cody going deep with it, like, hey, I got to solidify something here, and kind of playing up the heel because I think people are a little bit ready for the Cody heel turn, but
Hmm.
they're not ready. If that makes any sense, like you're gonna have to take away the song, I think, but I'm not ready for the song to go away. So, and then of course we did have Jacob and Tama make their presence known, which that seems like to be a thing every week now. They get a tag team match for them, but Jacob is being sold as next in line, for that title, and that's crazy. I mean, what a run he's had. So we can kind of book in the ends where Cody and Jay did defeat Jacob and Tama, but Solo shows back up and spikes Cody. So there we go. We got our elimination chamber title match. I saw a lot of people like, why are we visiting this? And I get that in, but then I was like, well, it gives Cody something to do at Chamber, which is what probably the champion should do. So it probably could have been someone else other than Solo, but then again, I think Cody has to overcome Solo so that Jacob gets upset with Solo. That type of deal. So there's a lot there, Greg. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like that ending with Solo reappearing, and no, it makes sense that they are, the main event for Elimination Chamber, or
Oh, they'll
I guess
go
the
before
Chamber's the
that.
main event,
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
one is
they'll go
gonna
before.
the in between matches
Yeah.
between, because you can't have two pay per views in a row with no championship match. So this is a perfect match to have in there, and I agree with once Solo takes the L, now Jacob's going to be looking at him, you know, sideways, and
Hmm.
question him. That may set off something with them, or
Yep.
the little power struggle starts right there. Because talk about hot, who's hotter than Jacob Fatu, not named Jey Uso.
Hmm.
Um, so love everything Jacob's doing, and he's a cool heel. That's all you can say for him. I can listen to his promos all day long.
Yeah.
Uh, his delivery is just second to none, and we buy everything he's selling because the guy's a killer in the ring. So, um, they have another power struggle within the new bloodline,
Yep.
which we don't know what their new name is going to be because that's kind of
They
played
haven't
out
re-
now.
yeah, they haven't really even said any names.
No, they haven't.
Jacob and Solo at Mania. Are we okay with that, or is it too soon?
Jacob and
Solo Sokoa at Mania.
well, I can see it. For maybe they want or Jacob wants to take control of the faction.
Yeah.
I can imagine that Tonga Lores probably comes back by then,
Hmm.
and so you'll have four people, you know, back by that time,
Hmm.
and this match is for who's in control, type of thing. So I think that'd be pretty awesome, and put Jacob over.
That's yes, and I think that'd be the biggest thing. I I don't think it necessarily would hurt Solo to lose there, but it's more about what's going over, and I think it's all about the Jacob show right now.
Yeah,
So, Bianca Belair picked up a win to qualify. Alexa Bliss picked up a win to qualify. Those are our two. So now we have Io, or sorry, no, Alexa, um, Bianca. I'm losing my brain, and then Liv in the chamber. So we'll see a lot of moves off the top of the cage, Greg, between Liv and Alexa, right? And then, like we said, if we could throw Io in there, let her do something from the top of the cage, we'll have a crazy. And it's still crazy to see Bianca pick up Piper like nothing and do the kiss of
yeah.
death, the KOD. I mean, that thing is. What about the Jade storyline? When are we picking this back up?
I thought it was going to be this week, but
Maybe after Chamber
I think there's a.
or at
I thought there
Chamber?
was something next week coming up with
Was there?
Bianca or uh,
Yeah, I can't remember.
Naomi. Isn't Naomi's qualifying match next week?
Okay, so that could be something there, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking it's this week, but maybe it's next week.
Hmm.
I'm thinking it's right. We're right there.
Hmm.
That this week. I think before Chamber, we
Okay.
find out who did it.
Okay. Yeah,
So that's my prediction.
and I think I might wait till after because you got plenty of time. Like Chambers March 1st, Mania weekend is April 19th and 20th. So you still got a good month and a half there to let
Sure.
things. So, um, I still think I'll just be curious which direction it goes because I'm not really sure. But Pretty Deadly get a big win over DIY. It looks like they're kind of moving in they're still going to be Pretty Deadly, but they do have a little more aggression to the side of things. Wade Barrett put them over a lot on commentary doing that. So
Yeah.
good win for them. We kind of talked about the tag team scene. What about the LA Knight pro or PSA? I guess it was Greg. Uh, Kind of a unique, coming out and saying, "Hey, it's okay to have hard times and stuff like that." And Drew McIntyre didn't care because he ended up picking the win. So there you go. But what did you think about that little PSA by LA Knight? Seemed like there was more there than just a promo, if it were.
Yeah. Um, Before I get to that, though, I'm gonna go back to one thing real quick, though,
All right.
because I've been on it from last year.
Uh huh.
I'm still staying on record saying Bianca did it,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
and we're gonna get Bianca versus Jade at WrestleMania. So
Yeah.
I'm staying on that train, and I'm
And
not
I
coming off.
will, and I'm going the opposite. I think Naomi heel turn is so needed for her, Greg. So I'm going to go Naomi was the one because
All right, noted. So
Who benefit? I mean, Naomi benefited from the most because she
that's
got the
true.
tag team
That's
title
true.
back.
That's true.
So I mean that, but I don't mind the Bianca Belair because maybe Bianca was tired of all the Jade love. So there, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like you could go either way, and you're not going to go a wrong direction if that makes sense.
That's right.
Or
Right.
I mean, could you have both of them in on it?
You could. You could.
I mean, you could have maybe had one take him out, and the other one's like, yeah, I'm for it. So I don't think I want that to be a triple threat at Mania. So that's where I
No.
think I would fall apart with it. So I think you do have to have one or the other be the ultimate villain in it and the ultimate, taking out, the ultimate person who did it. So, but yeah,
Right.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And one of them needs to be able to carry Jade because
Yeah.
she needs the help.
Well, you can't. And once again, I mean, Bianca or Naomi could probably do it. So I don't think
Exactly. Yeah.
it's just yeah. So okay, sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So back to LA Knight. Yeah. So I think the PSA was very interesting because it looks like he was going off on a whole uh,
Yeah, like
different
Ralph.
direction,
Yeah.
and starts talking about mental health and okay to cry,
Hmm.
and that was feeling he was talking to maybe somebody. You
That's what
know,
yes, that makes
maybe he
sense.
did a make a wish or something, and he's talking
That
to
could be,
that
yeah.
person.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
okay, okay.
but then I was like, maybe he's referencing to Drew McIntyre crying backstage
Yeah.
after
Okay.
Royal
'Cause
Rumble
we
because
were
all
hearing
the
little things, yeah.
that Drew McIntyre was mad because LA Knight was too busy trying to get his stuff in and ruin their spot.
Mhm.
Um, and then at the end of that little promo, he goes, "Now I got to go get my stuff in."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's it right
Almost
there."
forgot my stuff in, yep, so
Right.
but
So
hey, Drew still picks up the win.
yeah, and I like they acknowledged that in the
Mhm.
promo, because we wonder how that they're going to resolve that with
Mhm.
Drew being on Raw and LA Knight being on SmackDown. Well, here we go. Now Drew's on
Drew
SmackDown
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
they get to settle the beef in the ring.
Can we
So
do Drew and LA Knight at Mania?
I don't hate it.
But I do feel like Damian Priest is still out there as well, and it looks like we might be doing Drew and Damian Priest because didn't they? Who one eliminated the other, right? I
Right.
forget, or I forgot which direction, but and I love the old school. That's how you start a feud. I know it's a cheap way. It's a simple way, but sometimes a simple way is the best way. But I mean, I guess you could throw them with Nakamura and maybe just do a U.S. title multi-man match. But you know,
Yeah. But like you said, I agree with you. This is a good way to start a rivalry because you look at the stakes.
yeah,
If you had won, you beat WrestleMania main event, and that
mhm,
guy costed you that.
yeah,
So I'd have heat with it too if that was me. So
yeah,
it makes sense and on the simplest level.
mhm, yep. Some other things: Carmelo Hayes picked up a win. Tiffany Stratton, like you brought up, did confront Charlotte, and we kind of hit the main event. Anything else from WWE side of things that I might have missed, Greg, that you wanted to catch up real quick, and then we'll get AW news.
No, they've been doing good. We're cooking with gas over here. So
So
good
AW.
time in Indy though. I really enjoyed
Oh,
being
good.
out there.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Indy was an awesome city, and the vibe was awesome. Uh, Everybody was there, and it's like that concert feel. Everybody's there for the same reason to
Yes.
see the bands, and it's a big sense of community and fun.
We really
Uh,
know how to put on the big events, and I guess I
yeah,
feel bad we didn't get to show you too much of the actual city. I felt like we were so pushed on time, especially
yeah,
that Friday was like I felt like I needed to sleep Sunday because Friday and Saturday just went by so quick. So hopefully Mania comes and we can get you an extra day out here and then maybe take in some of the city a little bit more. So,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
it was definitely an awesome experience meeting you and all that good stuff. And yeah, hopefully we'll now that we got Sean on board with our WWE talk, we
Yeah.
might have to get him a little more involved with this side of things. So, and I'm sure with Mania we can try to book something, some BW Sports Love there and try to make that happen. So, some AW stuff. So we did kind of bring it up. I think it's all Cedric Alexander heading to AEW now. His wife kind of left on bad terms, Greg, but you know the wife and husband are always different. So
Sure.
who's to say he doesn't get treated differently? So yeah, that was kind of the big story I saw out there. This other story though, Mercedes is meeting with some Renegade twins, Robin and something Renegade, and possibly Charlotte Renegade. Maybe doing something with them. I do not need Mercedes Monet with another group faction pairing, right, Greg?
No, we're
So
tired of it. It's
yeah,
already,
I mean,
it's too much already.
yeah. If anything, pair her with a puppet, right? The
That's funny. Yeah, I'll take
puppet's
that.
more over than her, but yeah. So that was the other story. But let's get into Dynamite. So we got Cope and Jay White offering a challenge to Death Riders. We're gonna get a brisbane brawl. The first of its kind, right, Greg? No. Yes, I just love them. Whatever city we're gonna go to, name it that. But we're the best part of that whole brawl was Marina just picking up Renee and making sure she didn't get accidentally naked out or accidentally shot at or like the Shawn Michaels Jericho stuff, Greg.
Yeah.
That could have been a really good, that could have really upped the stakes somehow. But anyway, so you ready for the Brisbane brawl between Cope and Jay White and Moxley and Claudio?
I suppose about as ready as we're going to be.
Well,
Uh,
for you, Greg, it'll be nice because it'll still be like 8:30 ish. Like
yeah,
when
I
this
mean,
airs after the NBA All Star Saturday night. Whereas for me, it'll be 11:30, 12, and I can guarantee you, I probably will not be up for it. So, if anything, I might wake up in the middle of it. But so yeah, what a weird. I still think that's a weird time to put it on, but whatever. That's TNT's deal with AEW. So we're also getting Takeshita and Fletcher versus Osprey and Omega. We got a couple big tag matches next week, Greg,
yeah.
happening in Australia. So yeah, any more thoughts on that beginning kind of segment?
No, it's good. I like the matchups for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, Edge is getting to Sting level as far as cringy. So uh, Sting took the hit and he's rolled up into the sunset, and I hope Edge Cope does soon too. Uh, his dance card is pretty much punched out now. So a few
He
more
hasn't hit
matches. And,
Jericho levels though, right?
what's that?
He hasn't hit Jericho levels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not at the point of go away heat yet, but he's
I
getting
still
there.
feel like I want to see Cope out there, whereas Jericho, yeah, the writing is there that Jericho is the gas tank is empty.
Hey, I'm ready for Jericho just to be an announcer now. So I
Okay.
can agree with you on that. As
Yeah,
much as I love Jericho,
yeah. I mean,
his
yeah.
days are done.
So, Osprey defeated the newest member. I did do that quotes very purposely because it doesn't look like Mark Davis quite wants to be in the Don Callis family, right, Greg?
Right, right. It's like
So,
he's a slave to Don Callis now. So he has to do what he says for whatever reason.
yeah.
So it's a basic match. No, nothing much to see here, but
Like you said, I think the bigger story is going to be when Osprey and Omega, pull the trigger on each other.
yeah,
Then we're off and running. Maybe you throw Takesh or throw oh my gosh, I just forgot Rainmaker Okada. Throw him in there and see where they go. So I had a brain freeze there. The Guns came out and challenged the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah, that happened. Private
Hey,
Parties
but I
Oreo.
like what they're doing with the Guns. They are stripping down the ego
Yes,
and
yeah.
showing them as real people, and we're Billy Gunn's sons, but we busted our tails, we're grinding, we're putting in the work and coming out across on a more human level than just two egomaniacs who are egregiously not self-aware.
Yeah.
And now you're doing the complete opposite, and they're coming out kind of the
They probably
stripped
need to
down
watch.
versions of the earlier ones. um
Do we put them back with Jay White at some point?
that's what I was wondering,
Because
because
Jay White's kind of been, showing up as that as well, right? Like we're peeling back the layers of Jay White a little bit.
right.
So
So I don't know. Is Bullet Club Gold still a thing? I mean, I think that the Guns did mention something about gold
yeah.
uh, during their promo or something like that. But
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Uh,
think we like to see that back
the Hounds
happening.
of Hell got a loss, Craig. I guess they'll pick up wins eventually, but right now they're kind of being fed to tag teams. Though I guess they did pick up the win on Collision and cut the promo about who they are. But Takeshita and Fletcher obviously had to pick up the win since they're heading into their match with Omega and Osprey. What about MJF? He kind of somebody wrote that this Dustin Rhodes promo is probably what they wanted Jeff Jarrett to do, and I can see a lot of that because it felt like the crowd was totally behind Dustin Rhodes, and they've not been they've not been quite behind Jeff Jarrett in his promos. So, and then you get
Mhm.
interrupted by Hangman Adam Page, so we got a couple matches you can book right off there, right?
Sure. I mean, I think we'd love to see Heyman and MJF.
Yeah,
Um, you've got two heels pretty much, but people are coming around on Hangman,
yeah,
and he's just been consistent and solid and true to his character. So,
mhm,
and people are slowly coming behind it. I mean, I've been with it since his return, but
yeah.
it's nice to see that people are you know getting with it now.
Well, like I brought
Um,
up that intro he did way back at Full Gear, and him riding the horse through the streets, and then showing up. I mean, the crowd, the cowboy shit chant was so over back in the day. So
yeah,
I think you just need to evolve the character a little bit and see where he goes. Yeah.
yeah, and I dug the Dustin Rhodes promo with MJF. It came
Mhm.
across a lot more authentic than what Jeff Jarrett was trying to do.
Yes.
Speaking of other guys that want to retire to the couch,
Yeah.
um, it was good. Is Dustin have any chance of winning? No,
Nope.
but but that promo was fire. I loved it, and you know respect for Dustin. I've seen him since his first on screen TV matches in WCW way back in the day. So um, we're gonna get a banger of a match between those two, but there's no way he's gonna win. But I liked it. The promo was good, and for once, somebody gets the better of MJ up on the mic. Once in the blue moon, it's going to happen, and there was a good moment.
Yep. Speaking of characters, Tony freaking Storm as the glamour, sorry, Mariah May. I mean, you put them side by side, it looked pretty legit. Tony's got a little more meat on the bones, as I say, Greg, but you don't
Yeah,
know that until you zoom out. But man, that was whew, what is there anything Tony Storm cannot do?
that was amazing. That was so awesome. She wrestled
I
the
mean, I
match
kind of want
as
to buy her. I want
Mariah
her to
May.
dress up as a male wrestler now, right? Like, find some dude that she could get in a feud with, and let her play that part for a minute. We could do a little cabaret action back in the day, Greg. But yeah, Tony Storm. Does she get the title back in Australia?
I say yes. It's going to happen. It's going to bring this thing full circle. Um, I don't know how many months it's been since she took that L to Mariah and disappeared, but
That was in All in London, right? Yeah, because that was Mariah May's like kind of homecoming there.
okay, so yeah, so we're closing in on a year, maybe 6.
About
Okay,
6 months, yeah.
about the math, 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, that's a great run. It's helped propel Mariah May to
New heights,
a
yeah.
star level, and now we got Timeless back and some great memorable moments
Mhm.
to lead into it, and it's in Australia. Yeah,
I mean,
uh,
I think, yeah.
Mariah
You
wins
know,
it in her
there might
country.
be
Now
another
Tony's going to get it back in
Australian
her
that I'd
country.
rather. Sorry, there's another Australian though I'd rather have her take the title off for somebody, and we can get into that on Collision in just a
Well,
second. But what
you might
about
get your wish, sir.
your boy Ricochet gets a win? That's right, a win, a pinfall. The Duke, the money over Swerve, former AEW champion Greg Strickland. Who saw that coming? Because I did not.
Hey, I am here for it. I
What
love it.
a couple months makes for him.
Exactly. I mean, I'm a Swerve guy too, but this was awesome. I mean, the match was a banger as it was, uh, but getting Ricochet that win,
Mhm.
that's huge.
Yeah.
This is put him as a legitimate threat to
Mhm.
Swerve. This is not going to be where it ends, of course, and I'm sure Swerve will get it back, but this puts Ricochet another tier up.
Yeah.
Uh, the new character, love the new character. Just I call it Evil Poindexter. With his
Yeah.
suits and the scissors in the pocket and the glasses. I call it Evil Poindexter.
Almost like a serial killer type,
Right.
American Psycho. I wonder if that's maybe what they're trying to hearken. You know,
Maybe I
like
think it's
the
working
Patrick
though.
Bateman, Christian Bale character that he did back in the day for that movie American Psycho, and where during the day he was just kind of normal, you
Hmm.
know, snarky, smirky guy, but then at night he uh he did some bad shit, as they say. So, that seems to be it because it's the white shirt. Well, then of course the white shirt always looks good when you're gonna bloody somebody up, Greg.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks did that, and some other guys have done that. But yeah, I just can't believe Ricochet got the win, like straight up. Now he did do the chair shot at the beginning, but still,
Hmm.
I mean, giving Ricochet that win in the main event of Dynamite. I mean, when I did not foresee that coming.
Right.
So good week for Ricochet.
It did a good job hyping it up for weeks and giving it that big match feel, and then putting Ricochet over is like
Mhm.
that's genius storytelling right there, because now you can't just write him off. He had a couple good moments, and now swerved him and put him in his place. Now Ricochet wins, and now he's a threat.
Yeah,
He's somebody you need to worry about. So I love the way they did it. And maybe this is going to get him to a cage match. It's going to get him to another
the next step.
lights out match, something like that. Um, but they're going to carry it forward, and now we're going to see Ricochet differently because he's capable of beating a former champ.
So, and then Collision was last night. And I do want to say, Greg, we finally got it. Mercedes agreed. I want to feel the wrath of Harley Cameron.
I'm
You
sure
catch
you
my
do.
drift. You catch my drift. Whew. Because yeah, give her all the wins in Australia. Uh, I mean, she's getting a freaking puppet over, Greg. Like, seriously.
Right?
And she's doing legit ventriloquism. Like, I figured she kind of do the, mouth thing. I mean, it's like she actually knows ventriloquism, which is crazy to think. I haven't seen that good since Chef Dunham with his puppets of mastery. But yeah, they finally do it, and yeah. So I don't know Can both Australians win in Australia? Probably not. But hey, stranger things have happened. So
Hey, I say why not? I
I
mean,
say why not too. I mean, Mercedes obviously still has 4 other championships to worry about, Craig. So
exactly.
I
So
mean, yeah,
and Harley is getting mega over.
yeah,
So I love it, and we're both crushing on her.
hmm
She's hot and crazy and all the things. And like I said, she got a puppet over. It's so good.
hmm
And more of that because she's got the championship now. Yes, please
yep,
go ahead, take my money, and at least my viewership point.
hmm
And I will be there for all of her stuff because she's only going to get better and better because people are into it, and
hmm
she's on the screen. We're going to be watching, so she's going to have the Mariah effect because she came out after she beat Tony and
hmm
pretty much in lingerie, and we're like, holy crap, okay,
yep.
yeah, we're in. So I'm with you. I'm Team Harley,
Got
and
her first win ever on TV last weekend. So I mean, why not give her another win over Mercedes? And
yes,
Mercedes can do some of her other title defenses out and about where she needs to. But Undisputed Kingdom going after the um, trios titles. It looks like, Greg. So yeah, that's a thing. Bandito. So we had the bounty hunter versus the bounty hunter. They did give us a little standoff in the middle of the ring, and they both like drop kicked each other. So that was a pretty cool moment. Um, Bandito going after. Does he go after the ROH title? He's a former champion.
yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, you're gonna have to reintroduce them to the AEW audience
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it like on Dynamite or something. But doing it on Ring of Honor and then
Yeah.
ingratiating them back in to the main AEW shows is make more sense, I think.
Yep. LFI defeated Aries Alexander, Jay Alexander, and Brick Savage. But we did see the upgraded hologram. He still looks the same. I didn't really notice any difference, Greg. Did you know? Did I miss anything with the difference in hologram? He still looks like yeah. But anyway, so
Yeah.
that happened. Dustin Rhodes did squash some guy. Thunder Rosa won. Mariah May got a win, and Kyle Fletcher picked up a win. So that was Collision in a nutshell. Did you catch it live, Greg, or not? I kind of just caught the results.
No, I same here. I went to
Yeah.
a Renaissance festival yesterday and
Okay.
spent all my time out there
There you
yesterday.
go.
But
Okay. So then, anything for the good of the matter? Super Bowl tonight. I've already seen some cool movie trailers. Jurassic Park Rebirth is coming out with Scarlett Johansson. There was a Fantastic Four trailer that's already dropped. It looked pretty good. They did not show Doctor Doom yet, which will be Robert Downey Jr. What a way for Robert Downey Jr. to get reintroduced to the Marvel universe,
right.
Greg, as Iron Man to Doctor Doom. So, um, yeah, it's all about the commercials. Even though most times they drop the commercials before, I'm surprised they haven't leaked all them yet. But Kendrick Lamar, right at the halftime, I can only name 2 Kendrick Lamar songs, which is "Damn" and "Humble." So there you go on that end.
Well,
Yeah.
that's 2 more songs than I can name.
But we
So
did have Billy Joel and Sting here, and I should have pulled the trigger on that, Greg, because I found a
uh,
floor seat that was going for $100. I'm like, oh my god, like why are
what?
you doing? I know, why are you doing this to me? But I did not do
Oh
it. Sting
wow.
and Billy Joel, you got to come back to in no. So
I
pretty good crowd there. It looked pretty full. So,
would have
but
been
there was
all
just
over
like
that.
little pockets of seats that like it was like single seat off for $100. I'm like on the freaking floor, like why can't Mania do this? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
right.
sit by myself at Mania for $100. But yeah, so that's the Pacers. Oh my God, embarrassed themselves on TV against the Luca list, the LeBron list, Lakers last night. They tried to come back, and yeah, it was kind of a weird road trip. They were down most of the games and lost to the Trailblazers, and because they've not won there since 2007. Well, they did win their pandemic, but yeah, before that was 2007. So yeah, but Pacers still rolling. Fourth seed. Your Suns are back in the play-in game tournament there. So looks like your Suns might be getting some mojo back, Greg.
We'll see. I hope so. They're
Until
they
they get rid of Kevin, right?
man, they really goofed things up around the deadline. They were trying to get
Jimmy.
Jimmy Butler and move Bradley Beal, and they gave him such a ridiculous contract that they can't get out from under it.
Yeah.
And then the Warriors scooped Jimmy Butler, and then it got out that they'd been trying to shop Kevin Durant without Kevin Durant's knowledge. So yeah, not the best week to be Suns fan or probably Suns management.
Yeah. I give my Pacers credit because like Miles Turner came out a couple years ago and said their front office told him straight up, "Hey, we might be shopping you," like you know, and that's the way it should do. Well, but then again, look at the Mavericks and oh my God, Lakers trade. That was only what the GMs, the coaches didn't know, the players didn't know, LeBron didn't know. That was straight up like under the radar in the middle of the night. Two GMs talking, saying, "Hey, I still can't get over it. Like you're trading a freaking broken Anthony Davis, 31 years old, center or power forward, Greg, for Luka Doncic, who you think is not of a good weight, but he's a freaking generational talent." So like, and I guess what's scary is now that he's with LeBron. LeBron will probably get a meeting right, and who knows what who knows what his ceiling could be next if he can get in shape, which he doesn't look that out of shape anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
I
so
know, he's looking kind of chubby these
yeah.
days.
But I mean, he can still
I mean,
do whatever. I mean, his defense isn't great, but he can do everything else he needs to do. So yeah, but
true.
that was but the Jimmy Butler stuff, yeah. It's like if it doesn't work out in Golden State with Steph Curry, what the heck does he like? Where the heck is it going to work? So it sounds like Kevin Durant could be off to Washington at some point because that's his hometown.
Well, I think he'll get traded in the offseason
Yeah,
because
sorry, like is he
now
already
that
signed, right? Or is his contract almost up?
I think he's still got 2 years
Oh,
left on his contract.
okay. I wasn't sure if they would do like the sign an extension, then trade him away. So then the whoever it does, but yeah, what are your Suns going to look to do then? Restart?
I know they got to rebuild. They sent a they sent Nurkic
Yes, you brought
away, and they
in.
got three first rounders in return. Then they sent one of them away. Uh,
You got a center back in return, didn't you? I thought.
yeah. So that's all they did, but they were angling to use those three first to get Jimmy Butler,
Got
which didn't work out. So now they got two more first round picks, and they got like three rotation players.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I think they're still going to try to blow up the super team now with uh, KD, being their only tradable asset aside from Booker, but they're not going to trade Booker. So Kevin Durant makes the most
after
sense.
Lucas stuff, Greg. I mean, I feel like I'm like, we better keep Halliburton around. So just never know. I mean, these GMs, I didn't. Yeah, that Dallas trade, man, and that was the Royal Rumble night. So I remember like, reading Royal Rumble stuff, and then like Shams tweets that bombshell, and I'm like, okay, is there an extra A in his name? Is there an R in? Is there some fake
Fake
Twitter
news.
account? But no, that was a legit trade. So, well, enjoy the Super Bowl if you watch it. Enjoy the weekend. The week we got a Valentine's Day next Friday, so enjoy your loved ones if you have them. If not, enjoy your time alone.
Hey, go Eagles! Shout out to Dan the Man, our fearless leader. I will be on the Eagles bandwagon today. Beat
I feel
the
like that might be
Chiefs.
a busy bandwagon with the Chiefs hate that's going around. So.
Exactly. And
All right,
shout out to you for letting me hang out last
no
week.
problem.
And shout out to Andrade. I saw him in the in
Oh yeah.
the pre-chat line, and got to talk to him for quite a bit while we're waiting to going through all the maze. And cool guys. So I'm just glad I didn't go. Okay, where's Charlotte? Because yeah,
Yeah.
that heard about that news too. That that's not a thing anymore. So,
I was trying
but
to chase. She's trying to chase 2 records of Rick's.
exactly. So she's almost there too. That's the shame of it.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
She
but
got
yeah, shout out
married
to
young.
Andrade, cool guy.
Yeah, I think she got married young to like the first husband, but yeah, like right out of college or during college. So yeah, she's 0 for 3, they say, and Rick is 0 of 5. So yeah, well, I don't. I guess a good prop bet. Does she break his title record or his wedding record first? Oh,
Hey, I
Charlotte,
volunteer to be number 4, Charlotte.
sure, go for
I
it.
volunteered.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
sure
take the chance.
there's a long line of men that would probably do it, but yeah, it's
Take it
just
for the team.
after 2 or 3, you think, okay, maybe it's not the other person. That's all I'll say on that. Anyways, so we will leave that there, and we will talk to you guys next week.